Hello and welcome to the MNT News Network. Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi. I am your host, Madhu Paswan. Today we have a very eminent person as a guest here, Mr. B.D. Borkar. Today we are going to discuss about Brahmanical political movement versus Mulnivasi political movement in India. We have Chairperson of DKKMT, Mr. B.D. Borkar, with us. Mr. B.D. Borkar is a very senior member of WAMSAFE and very eminent speaker of socio-political movement. Let's welcome to our sir.
Jai Hind, Jai Hind.
Welcome, welcome, sir. Jai Hind, Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi.
Jai Hind.
Sir, as we discussed, like we have a Brahmanical political movement versus Mulnivasi political movement today. Can you enlighten us for a little bit on this subject?
First of all, I just thank to the organizers having decided the subject, which is a relevance in the today's politics, especially when the elections for the 2024 uh, 18th Lok Sabha elections are going on. The point is,
Yes.
you see, what is this uh, Brahmanical political? Brahmins, ever since they have entered this country, they wanted to capture a political power in this country. In fact, there was a war between them and us. And the Aryans, Brahmin Aryans, they have invaded India. So we fought for our country. And
Sir,
yes, please.
sir, can you little bit elaborate about the why we are not discussing about Indian politics, but like Brahminical politics versus Mulnivasi politics? What is the difference
The
between both?
difference is, you see, politics. You see, politics is it's a science. You see, first thing you should know, politics is played everywhere in the world. There is international politics. There is a politics in India. Now, when we come to the Indian context, there are
Yeah.
different sections of the society in India. Now,
Okay.
in these, there are Aryans mostly comprising of Brahmin, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas.
Okay.
And they wanted to have a supremacy because of their ideology. Their ideology is based on the inequality. In the sense, all the people in the country living together, they are not equals.
Oh,
According to their philosophy, they are divided into four varnas. As you know, the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. And they wanted to have the power, all type of power, not only the political power, all types of power, whether it is a cultural power, economic power, whether it is a social power, and of course, a political power. So they wanted to have at the helm of the affairs of all the powers, including the political. Now, the Shudras were not having any rights according to their ideology or their philosophy. The Shudras were not having any rights.
okay.
They were only to meant for the service of the upper three varnas. And this was the situation going on. Then in the ancient India also it was like that. Then medieval India also it was like that. Then in the modern India, if we consider the modern Indian political period, it starts with the Britishers.
Okay.
Now, when the Britishers have defeated the Mughals and some of the Indian native states, then the political power has gone to the Britishers.
Okay.
Now the Brahmins wanted to capture that political power in their hand.
Okay.
If we see, and for that, I'll say they have formed the Congress party. Now, this Congress party was also not formed by the Indians. There was one British civil servant, A.O.
Yeah.
Hume. A.O. Hume, he has formed the political party. He has formed the uh,
Congress Party.
Congress.
Yeah.
Congress, and
Yeah.
it is called as Indian Congress Union. With that name, he has formed Indian Congress Union. And while forming these, before forming these, there were in 1857, there was a revolt in India against the British Empire.
Yeah.
Now, when that revolt was there, the Britishers were thought if they allow this to continue, probably they'll have to lose the political power in India. And
Okay.
therefore, these A.O. Humes, with the consent of the British power, he has formed this Indian
Congress.
Congress Union. So one thing you should understand historically, it is not the Indians who have formed it. It is the uh,
For Britishers who formed
A.O.
that.
Hume, Britisher, with the consent of British power, he has formed this Indian. That is the first thing. Now,
Okay.
what happened thereafter, you see, and the objective of farming was because all the civil servants, they were coming from the Britishers. And there were
Okay.
some educated people in India, mostly the Brahmins and the so-called high caste people. Now, they also wanted to be in the civil services, and
Okay.
they should be appointed as the civil servant in India. So with these certain agitations were there in the mind. So to subdue that agitations, that was the objective of forming a Indian Congress Union. And
Okay.
only thereafter, so mostly in the Indian Congress Union, that was in this fellow in 1883. In fact, A.O. Humes has moved these proposals amongst the uh, Calcutta University. You say Calcutta University students who were mostly the Brahmins, and then they have agreed to form, and they wanted to support the Britishers. The idea was to support the Britishers. So agitation should be subdued. That mutiny, which was there in 1857, somehow Britishers wanted to use these Brahmins for subsiding the force of the mutiny. That was the
Okay.
reason it was formed. And then the leadership, initially the Muslims, high caste Muslims, Ashraf
Went to the
Muslims,
upper caste and
they also did not join initially. You see, from 1885 it started up to 1906. They have not joined this Indian Congress.
Congress. Oh,
And thereafter they joined. Uh, and 1906, the Indian Muslim League was formed. And then Britishers wanted to play politics in India, and they wanted to divide the
divide and rule.
Muslims and the so-called Hindu. And
Okay.
therefore, in 1909, uh, to participate in the Central Legislative Assembly, uh, they have given reservation to Muslims. And
Okay.
that is why this Hindu-Muslim problems, which is now, you see, during the election, the Prime Minister has highlighted and uh, distinguished them, and then tried to divide the society on Hindu-Muslim line. So the seats are lying there in 1909. when the reservation was provided to the Muslims in the central legislative assembly. So this is the background on which now thereafter the then the 1909, after 1909 there was the first Government of India Act 1919, by which they wanted to, or through which they wanted to rule India, because there has to be some constitution to rule a country. So that was the constitution. First Government of India Act 1919, under that. And slowly, leadership during that time, from 1919 onward, the leadership of Congress has passed down to Mr. Gandhi. Gandhi, before that, he was in Africa. He has he had participated and started some agitation against the British Empire in South Africa also. But he came in India in 1990, and the leadership earlier was in the hand of Pune Brahmin Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and then it was given to Gandhi. So you see what has happened in the, so Brahmins all the time wanted a power with them. So that is how, when we say in our subject also, the Brahmanical political movement. So it was basically a social movement initiative. It was a social movement to capture a political power. And therefore, since the orientation was more to the political views and not merely a social views, that is why, that is how it has become a political. Thereafter, you see, many things have happened. Then there was no say political movement or a social movement. Social movement of the Mulnivasi Political was there. That was started by Phule in 1848. But there was no political movement as such. And during these first Government of India Act 1990, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar also came back after his education in the US and America, and US and London. And then he said, we have no rights here in India, especially as per the Chaturvarna system, we have no rights. So we should also be provided the rights. We should have a political rights. And therefore, when the second Government of India Act was to be framed, and for that the Royal Commission was sent to India in 1929. So there at that time, Baba Sahib has represented and said we should also have a political and civic rights, political and civic rights. The untouchables in India should also be provided political and civic rights. That he has represented through Bahishkrit Hitkarni Sabha to a Royal Commission. But then the Congress has, you see, boycotted that Royal Commission. Congress has boycotted a Royal Commission, and therefore then second roundtable conference was invited by British government, and from the untouchable side, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and R. Srinivasan from Madras Presidency, they were invited to the roundtable conference. They were representing the untouchables of India, and of course the Congress, Gandhi did not go to the first roundtable conference, but the other Congress members went there. And there that franchise committee, because it was that roundtable conference was invited for constituting a second Government of India Act, because they wanted to give certain more powers to the Indians. And if they wanted to give certain more powers to the Indians, so that is why they had taken a review through this Royal Commission. And there, what happened when the discussion was going on the franchise committee, like here also when our constitution was framed, there was a franchise committee also. So there also the constitution was being framed. So there was a franchise committee. And in the franchise committee, the issue came for discussion to whom the right to vote should be provided. So the Congress people were not ready to provide the right to vote to the untouchables or the Shudra people. They wanted the right to vote should remain only with the so-called high caste. Now the reason being, so it means it means if the right to votes means to capture the political power, because the political power can only be captured through voting system. So that is how they initial stage itself they wanted to deny us the right to vote, so that we will never come to the in the political field or in the political power. So then there Baba Sahib has opposed them. In the franchise committee, Baba Sahib has opposed the Congress, and he said nothing doing unless the adult franchise is provided to every citizen who has acquired the age of 21 years.
It was a long struggle from Baba Sahab.
Oh, it was a long struggle to
Give
get
us
the right to vote. Otherwise, Congress was opposing us to get the vote. Now, one more thing you should try to understand. Why was the Congress opposing us? Because Congress wanted to have a power with them only. And why Baba Sahib wanted that right to vote to us? Because Baba Sahib wanted political power must come to our people, Shudras and Ati Shudras. So that is how these political struggle started in India. As you have asked me initially, your question was, what is this Mulnivasi political movement and what is this Brahmanical political?
Yeah.
So
But
that is the reason. So that is the reason. Yes, please.
After our country freedom, we already got the voting power and political power, a little bit, whatever Baba Sahib could give
Power
us.
to vote only, power to vote.
Power to vote only. So, can you elaborate on that also?
You see, now what happened, now we got that. I am trying to elaborate for that. So we got it. Now you see, when we got it, then the elections took place in India in around 1937. In the meantime, you see, the Pune Pact was there, because right to vote was given. Right to vote was given in the second round table conference. In the first round table conference itself, it was given, but in the second round table conference, Gandhi, because always whenever the decisions are taken in any meetings, those decisions have to be ratified by calling another meeting. So then there was a second round table conference. Now in the second round table conference, Gandhi went. First round table conference, Gandhi did not go. But in the second round table conference, Gandhi attended. And then he did not oppose the right to vote to the adult franchise. But for the untouchables, in the meantime, the Baba Sahib has demanded that the untouchables should have a double vote. A double vote untouchable should have. The reason being, if we have a single vote, by single vote, since we are in minority in India, and by single vote, we will never be able to elect our representative to the parliament. So therefore, he said, there should be a double vote to the untouchables. In the primarily, the untouchables people will vote to only untouchable candidates. So with that, they will be able to elect their right representative to the parliament. And the second vote will be casted to a general candidate, so that he will be represented by two members. One member who is from the untouchable community and another member from the general community. But the Gandhi opposed the second vote. Gandhi does not want our people to get elected by our own votes. and therefore the system of reservation was designed, and then there certain constituencies were reserved, and in those constituencies only the scheduled caste people will be contesting. So some scheduled caste members, that way they will find place in the parliament. That is how
Politics.
other reservation
Mm.
has come into play. But with that also, what has happened? Ultimately, since the majority votes were coming from the so-called high caste people, so those who were getting elected from the untouchable community, they were became the
Puppet
puppets of the high
in the
caste.
upper
And
hand.
therefore, when it came to fight for our rights in the parliament, they were not allowed to speak, or they were speaking only his master's voice, whatever their masters used to tell them. Only that they will speak. So, in real sense, although we have got the right to vote, and although we have got the political
Elect
reservation, our real problems, they have never come into the parliament for discussion
main
for our.
political history.
So therefore, Baba Sahib has denounced that reservation system. In 1944, he said this reservation system should not be there, and again he demanded the separate electorate as it was earlier demanded in 1932, and he went back and he said, no, because with this system also our right representatives are not being elected, and therefore our points, our rights cannot be secured to this system. So these two fields, and that is how. So whole thing we must focus is that the Brahmins do not want to share the political power with the 90% population of this country. And
Yes.
even if they wanted to share to the right to vote, at the helm of the power only they wanted to remain. That is why you will find even today, whichever the political party is there, national recognized political party, at the helm of the affairs of those parties, you will always find a Brahmins, whether it is a Congress, whether it is a BJP, or whether it is
But
a AAP
but
party.
sir,
So,
now
yes,
we have lots of Mulnivasi party, so-called Mulnivasi party also in our India. They are in mainstream politics in India. So how you differentiate with them?
no,
मतलब
you
why
see, they are there, they are
are they?
mostly as regional parties. They are
Yeah,
mostly, they
regional
are.
party, but with the tag of Mulnivasi cadre and
Uh,
all.
yes, yes, they don't have a tag of Mulnivasi, you see. They are all playing the caste politics. It is all the caste politics they are playing. If you see a Samajwadi party, it is a dominated by Yadavas in Uttar Pradesh. Or if you
Yeah.
say RJD in Bihar, again it is a political party dominated by the
Okay.
JD, then and other backward communities because they are small in number, they are joining hands with them for a political power.
Aren't they
But what has,
represent? Aren't they
no, they.
represented
I am
of?
coming to that. I am coming to
Yeah.
that. I am coming to that. See, we feel that they are the political parties of our people, but you see, there again, they are only the titular head of that party.
Okay.
For example, if you everywhere in those parties, the Brahmin play their own role. Say,
Okay.
for example, in Bihar, say RJD is there. Now there is Mr. Jha. I first name I have just forgotten his name process. That Jha is there in the parliament.
Okay.
So he, although he on the surface he speaks about the reservations and all that, but actually uh, the
They are
real
not.
right, they are not for our rights. In fact, they are there to enjoy the power.
Okay.
They go because Brahmins are in minority in our country. At their own, they cannot form a government. If only Brahmins through the
Okay. Three
system of
percent.
election. franchise, uh, adult franchise, the Brahmins can never be a rulers in this country. So what happened? They try to take up the agenda of our people. Say for example, now Rahul Gandhi. Till yesterday, the Congress was not ready to give us the power, as I have told you right from the beginning. But
Yeah.
now Rahul Gandhi says we will do census, and the census of the communities. He says that we will provide the reservations. Who had stopped the Congress from providing a reservation for the 75 years of republic? 65 for the 65 years only the Congress was ruling.
So,
So you
are
see,
you
they
saying?
are only using us. They are only using us, our people, but they wanted to keep the political power with them. And through the political power, whatever the laws to be framed through in the parliament, with the support of our people, with the members of our so-called our communities elected by our votes, they are supporting the laws which are framed in their favor, or they are supporting the policies of the government which are framed in the interest of the Brahmanical, whether it are economic policies or education policies. Say, for example, now the BJP wanted to bring a Hindu Raj here. Now, Hindu Raj means whose Raj? It is Brahmins Raj. There is
Yeah, of
nothing
course.
like Hindu Raj. So, you see, ultimately, through that, now, yesterday, they were in Maharashtra, because of the new education policy which the uh, BJP government has passed during their uh, last
Mhm.
government, or the government which is in power. Now that government, in that government, they wanted to induct certain chapters of the Manusmurti in the syllabus of the uh, 11th and
Yeah,
12th standard. Now
they are
what
changing the
the
education.
Manusmurti was one document which has denied all our rights. But the
Yeah.
BJP, who got elected, who has got 303 three members parliament, many of them from the backward classes, and that policy was passed by these people, by the government, and now they wanted to execute that policy. They wanted to implement that policy. So what I'm trying to
So,
say, just listen. What I am trying to say, our people who are getting elected either on the tickets of the BJP or the Congress or any they are only used to frame the laws in the interest of the Brahmanical forces, to
okay.
frame the policies in their favor. So we cannot say they are the real representative of our country. We cannot say they are the parties of the Mulnivasi people in the real sense.
So, what
Those
you
parties
mean?
can only be called as our parties who will fight for our rights in the
Okay.
parliament, and of course in the government. They are not representing in the government. Few of them may be the members of the cabinet, but they are only keeping mum there. So therefore, what you are trying to ask me is whether these parties, you call them as a
Existing political party.
parties,
Yeah.
but they are not. They are not. They are the parties. They are only supporting other cause of the so-called high caste people, and we cannot expect any benefits or the rights for our people.
This is all about like Brahminical political movement. What
Hmm.
about our Mool Nivasi political movement?
Now you see the Mulnivasi political movement. In fact, it was started after the formation of BSP.
Okay.
BSP was formed by some of the persons who were working for BAMSEP. Then they resigned from the BAMSEP because they felt that unless we people have a political power, because BAMSEP is a social organization, and that they cannot participate in the politics. So therefore, those who were of the opinion in Bamse, unless we have our own political party,
Yeah.
we really cannot get our rights, constitutional rights. Because for getting a constitutional rights, you must have your people in the parliament, and they must
Okay.
speak for you in the parliament. Then only you will get your constitutional rights. So some of
Chance.
those people, they left BAMSEF. They have formed a political party by name of BSP, and then they have started organizing the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, other backward classes, and the minorities who have converted from these scheduled caste, scheduled tribe.
So,
So that is
sir,
how they
what?
represent. Just listen. That is how they represent 90% population of this country. So that was BSP, and in a limited sense, organizing in this manner, really the BSP could capture a limited political power in the state of Uttar Pradesh. But what has
Okay.
happened thereafter, after the demise of Mr. Kansiram, the political uh, leadership
It's
of BSP has gone to Mr. Mayawati, and then Mayawati was involved in so many type of
uh,
corruptions, and therefore she has not been able to do anything.
not
That
only
is
that,
why
she opened the
another political
party
party
for
was.
other caste also.
Therefore, another political party is formed, that is People's Party of India Democratic, again by very same people who were having a feeling, they have again come from the BAMSE, and they were again of the opinion that we must, since the BSP has miserably failed later on, uh, so we should have another political party, and that political party, People's Party of India Democratic, that was formed
Okay.
in 2018, and through that the political party is now contesting elections in the parliament. In 2019 it has contested election in 55 constituencies. Now in 2024 also, they have contested election in near about 100 constituencies, more than 100 constituencies. And during the intervening period, this People's Party of India Democratic have contested elections in the various state assemblies also. And slowly, again it is organizing these people under the Mulnivasi identity. This
Okay.
is very
So,
important, because
what's
if we
your
organize
future?
on the caste line, we are serving the purpose of those people who have formed the caste. The caste was formed by Brahmins. So if we organize a political party on a caste line, then we are not serving our own purpose. We are serving the purpose of our enemy. And therefore, a Mool Nivasi identity, all of us, those who are now divided into a different scheduled caste or scheduled tribe or other backward classes, they are not the people of these caste. Caste is alien to us. Caste is formed in India in 2000, sorry, 2000
2,000 years
BC,
back.
2000 years back. Right,
Yeah.
you have rightly placed it. It was 2000 years back, 185 BC. Before that, there was nothing like a caste in India. So they have divided us into caste. They have made us the member of different caste in their interest. So that cannot be
Okay.
our identity. And therefore, the People's Party of India, have started organizing the society uh, politically under the
What?
identity Mulnivasi identity. So we are
Okay.
organizing all
What?
these people under Mulnivasi identity, and that is how we have to be a very homogeneous party. Under the caste identity, we are all heterogeneous. We come together, different caste people come together. When they go to their home, again they are the people of different caste. But if we make them Mool Nivasi, then everybody is Mool Nivasi. And they were Mool
Okay.
Nivasi earlier also, when before the caste came to play in the Indian society.
Sir, where do you see your People's Party in the future in Indian politics context?
See, it has a better future. First thing, let me tell you, because slowly for the last 6 years we have been contesting elections.
And what's
And
your plan to expand the People's Party in Indian politics also?
that's what I am telling you.
Yeah.
Who will be successful? The future of the People's Party of India, the future of the politics of Mulnivasi Political will depend upon three things.
Okay.
If they could succeed in these three things, they should know these three things. These 90% population of India, they can play a real power politics, provided they know what is the constitution, what are their rights in the constitution.
Okay.
As of now, most of these people, they do not know that there is a constitution also. I had been in the Bihar during this campaigning. I went to the villages and I just asked them, do you know that there is something document, something known as constitution? And the people said they do not know. Then I asked them if they do not know this, but some of the people said, yes, there is a constitution. Then I asked another question to them, who has written that constitution? They do not know. Now the constitution, for whom it was written? It was written for us. It was not written for the so-called high caste people. Because in the previous constitution of Manusmriti, they were having all rights. All rights they were. We were not only having rights. So constitution was basically written for us to get the rights. And the rights are secured there in the constitution, but practically we are not getting them. So to get them practically, we should know three things. Our people should know three things. The first thing, they should know that there is a constitution. And our rights, equal rights, equal to others, equal to so-called high caste, are written in the constitution. So all our people, 90% population, they should know what is there in the constitution. That is the first thing they should know. That unless they know this, unless they know that there is a constitution and our rights are there, they will not strive for it. That is number one. Number two, they should know that there is a right, the right to vote. Right to vote means right to capture a political power. You decide who will rule over you.
In fact,
who
they
will
don't have
govern
the
over
power of vote.
Power, they are not knowing the power of vote. They should know what is the power of vote. The power of vote is so high that they can pull down any government. And they can make and break the government. They can make the government, they can break the government. Now, if these 90% population, if they understand the power of vote, then they can capture the political power. So this awakening is required. So first awakening is that they should know what is the constitution, what is there in constitution, what are the rights in constitution, and then they should know the power to vote. And the third thing, even if they know these three things, see, they have to be united. They know, suppose they know this. But unless they cast their vote unitedly, they still will not get power. We are having this power for the last 75 years. But we are not casting our vote unitedly. So unless we cast our vote unitedly, we will not get power. So to bring them, to unite them, they have to be organized under the Mulnivasi identity, a homogeneous identity.
Do you have this kind of program with People's Party, which can unite the Indian Mulnivasi?
We are moving. We have a program. We have drafted this program just before this last the elections, the parliamentary elections which we are going on. We have drafted that program. That program is awakening political awakening and right to vote. Awakening about the right to vote amongst the Mulnivasi. So that is the program we have drafted. But
Okay.
immediately thereafter, the elections were declared. So after these elections are over, whatever the result comes, I am hopeful that in some of the constituencies, our people will do better, as we have done compared to what we have done in the 2019 parliamentary election. We are going to do better in this election. So much so, in certain constituencies, we will be defeating either the Congress candidates or we will be defeating either the BJP candidates.
BJP.
So that is how we will create our political value. As of now, we do not have a political value. Our communities are taken for granted. We don't have any political value. So, if we defeat some of the Congress candidates, or if we defeat some of the BJP candidates,
Ruler
then
part.
we will
Yeah.
be able to increase our political value. And once we slowly increase our political value, then there will be a recognition by our force, and will be recognized by our own people. And once our own people recognize that the PPID is reckoning and slowly increasing its political strength, then with this we'll be able to capture the political power. So that program is already drafted. Immediately the elections are over, we have our National Executive Committee meeting on 17th of next month, and there this program will be unfolded by the president, and we'll take this to the nooks and corners of the country. We'll go to the village to village and explain the importance of these three things: the Constitution of India, the power of vote, and the Mulnivasi idea, and try to bring them under one banner, and unitedly we'll be able to capture the
Sir,
political. So future is better.
like,
What I mean to say,
oh,
future is better.
okay, like today, BJP party and other Congress party and all, they have their own cadre, and
Hmm.
they have their own programming for cadre, campaign program and training program and etc. What do you have in for your party people or cadre?
We have already, as I told you, this program. You asked me what is the program, so that program, awakening the voters. That is the
Okay,
program we have drafted,
that
and
okay,
for that we have already planned it. Cadre camps. We have an institution in Nagpur, uh, and through in that institution we will be giving a training to a political cadres, and we'll tell the importance of the three things. In addition to that, many other things have to be taught to them: how the policies are framed, which policies will be better, what should be the
okay.
educational policy, what should be
Sir,
the economic policies. All these things we will impart training to them through our institutions.
okay. Sir, it's nice to hear all that future planning for our Mulnivasi people, and it's wonderful to have you with us. This is very nice talking with you. Uh, Now it's like time is being, it's not permitting us to talk more, but I would love to listen to you in the future again. Thank you for coming in our show, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Jai Bhim, Jai
Thank. Jai Bhim, Jai Mool Nivasi. Hello.